And then there we go.
There we
Okay.
go. And I'm gonna share the agenda and then explain something that's about the agenda with a deep sigh.
I like to start recordings with, hi, this is Laura Myers, and we are on the October 14th Sustainability Committee call.
That would be a good idea.
Okay. Joined by Maria Stelly, Dan Cagle, Elizabeth
This
Fenner.
was not what I wanted to share. So do you guys, are we seeing the environmental committee agenda up here on the
Not yet.
screen?
I am not yet seeing it.
Okay.
There we go.
You see it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so yes, I'm sorry. Greetings for this recording. I did just sort of back into it. Thank you, Elizabeth, for pointing that out. We have some changes to our agendas related to the state legislature passing a bill called AB 361. So that is an amendment to the Brown Act, which is California's Open Meetings Act, and it is in effect through the year 2024, and it's relative to emergency situations. So the legislature, obviously we're in the middle still of a COVID pandemic, but they also envision emergencies for wildfires or earthquakes. And it enables a local jurisdiction to meet virtually, but at the time that they decide to do that, so they need to basically do a motion that says that meeting in person would present imminent risk to the health or safety of attendees. For neighborhood councils, the current guidance is that the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners will simply adopt that motion once a month for all 99 neighborhood councils and all of their committees. That's the advice that the Neighborhood Council City Attorney Advice Unit gave to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. And noting that different departments got different advice from different Los Angeles city attorneys. So there's not one consistent City of LA practice at this point. So if you go to HPOZ meetings or commission meetings or other city planning department meetings, they will each at that moment in time adopt the same motion. But we don't need to adopt a motion. We just need to start our agendas with this, number one, the determination to continue meeting virtually. The other big change is we can no longer put times on the agenda. We can put a start time, but not an end time to the meeting itself or to any individual item. And the reason is if, for example, you say public comments are from, I'm making up a time, 8:10 to 8:20, and there are no public comments, you have to sit and wait till 8:20 to move on to the next agenda item. So
At least if we put down our time, then we have to live by that time.
correct, because a member of the public
Right.
might think they've got one more minute to log in and comment on the particular item.
Okay.
So it runs afoul of, especially for governing board, how we run our meetings, because we always want to put times to control the time of the meeting. But that's why the agenda looks a little different.
Okay.
So with
sounds
that, the chairs can call the meeting to order.
good. Let's see, chairs. Well,
Well, Elizabeth is now official, and Dan, you have a breather until you come back to the board and say, I want to be the co-chair, because you have to be at a board meeting to be appointed, new rules.
oh,
So
good.
Elizabeth is it for the moment, but I'm sure she is relying on your help.
Okay. I tonight, as an exception, I cannot do minutes.
Okay.
I apologize.
I will take some notes.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay, well then I'll just say welcome to the committee. Welcome, Marius, Dan, Laura. It's a delight to see you all. I'm going to change my screen so that you guys are bigger than the agenda. And let's go around. We just lost the agenda.
Oh, no.
go around and introduce ourselves and just say, how are you doing tonight? I honestly, I have, there was a tragedy in my family recently, and I don't have any energy. I hardly have any focus, and I don't have any energy. So just so you know. So Dan, why don't you go next?
Sure.
Well, that was uplifting, Elizabeth.
All right. All right.
Well, she's doing her best. I'm doing relatively well. I have been dragged down by work a lot, but I'm here for the meeting and I have something to contribute, and that's a win.
Yes, thank you. Marius, how are you doing?
There we go. All right. Yes, doing great. You know, work and stuff like that, and taking care of business and all that. So, you know,
Are you working in the office?
no, we're out of the office. So
Okay.
we're at home, and you know, until I guess something happens with this pandemic, and then hopefully we can all meet up again. That'd be real nice.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
And Laura, how are you doing? Except
Well,
for the
you mean aside from that I have to do my taxes, and it's been a very busy week, and was on the planning commission hearing for 6 hours today and redistricting hearing last night. So kind of like I need to wash my hair.
Oh.
But aside from that, doing great.
You're here. It's
That's
true.
fabulous. No, I mean, you know, it's interesting because we're talking about the Zoom thing. I'm actually thinking that it helps a lot of us engage in more arenas because they don't have to go anywhere to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if it becomes more like what I laughingly but really call Zoom TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can go and just watch a commission or listen to a commission meeting or learn anyway. So
I just feel like I need a special room and a really, really comfortable chair.
yeah, there's
Should have
that.
done this a year ago and just gone and gotten a gaming chair.
Mm.
So moving forward, do we all approve the agenda? Did everyone get a chance to look at it?
Do you need me to put it back up?
Yes, please.
Okay,
With 1 through 8 visible.
right.
And it's my fervent and ardent desire that we finish at 9 tonight.
I think we might get done before that.
Okay.
Sounds good. I move we approve the minutes.
You mean the agenda?
Right, agenda.
All right. Any seconds?
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
It's
Aye,
unanimous approval. Great. Great. So moving on to the next one. So if everybody could have gone to their email, and you can pop up the agenda on your own screen, and then we can look at each other better. Public comments. Any public comments? Okay, we are an important committee is my public comment. All of us are stretched thin, but I'm glad you're here because LA is transforming and it will continue. And knowing that you guys have sort of a hand on the tiller is very meaningful. We'll get to some of that hand on the tiller with Dan Cagle, CIS. But they're bigger, you know, we attach to some bigger gears and we can really get something done. The news these days is very interesting. And I don't know if any of you have seen the new bike path on Adams west of Crenshaw, but it's up and running and it's fantastic. I've biked on it a couple of times now.
That's great.
Yeah. So then that's all I have. Moving on to review and approve.
Minute. Guess what? I have them.
All right. Could you put those on the screen?
Yes, I'm gonna, and just again, forgive me because I'm looking carefully only because I have so many other things up here that I don't want to accidentally share my taxes.
Okay.
So darn, and I can't find it. That's so strange.
Did you? No, I don't think
I'll
you.
try to, let me look again. Well, that would be because I accidentally closed the document. So hang on. You know
I
how
have-
we put it? I've got it. And now I will share it.
I do not have it.
No, the only one who's going to have them is me because I'm the only one who has them. However, I'm still not seeing them on this share. There's just something kind of wrong here. Can we table this to the end
Yeah, sure.
and,
So let's
move on to the next item?
on. Reducing plastic waste and the skip the stuff ordinance. Further discussion on proposed UNNC effort to inform, educate stakeholders and local small businesses about the new skip the stuff ordinance, which becomes effective in November, as well as other reusable LA initiatives, including reduction in the overall use of plastics. Reusable LA is a coalition of organizations working to reduce plastic pollution in Los Angeles to safeguard our public health, communities, and environment through legislative advocacy, outreach, and community engagement. This effort may include a digital social media campaign and direct outreach to local businesses. So
I'm posting the skip the stuff just to remind ourselves.
So our committee, Laura and I talked about, I think I can say this, Laura and I talked about a social media push on this so that we can get buy-in and connect it to UNNC.
Right. So can you guys see the screen? We
Yes.
don't. Okay. So we
Have you
don't need
guys
to.
considered a neighborhood news article? I know they're
Well-
online only, but
I think we could consider. Okay. So here's what we've considered. Charlie Papp, who was not able to be with us tonight, but who kind of started this discussion, is committed to writing an article for the UNNC website. So that's a start. And I don't know that whether or not Diane Lawrence from the Neighborhood News, she's shut down the paper printing. She's physically printed the last issue, but she's not done. So I can talk to her about the chance that she could also share that article once it's written. Right?
yes,
I mean, we don't need two different articles.
correct.
It may need to be a little different in the intro that United Neighborhoods is doing, a campaign.
That's-
So what we had talked about last month, and do I need to leave this up?
No,
Okay. So what we had talked about last month was a multi-pronged sort of campaign. One would be start with an article on our website, and that also would be in either on its own or a summary of it sent out by e-blast with a link to the article on the website. So, that's another communications channel, and some sort of social media campaign. Elizabeth's main point was, we were talking about it's all about the businesses, not using, saving the stuff, not offering us the stuff. I mean, it's like
one thing.
educating our stakeholders about don't ask for it, but educating the small businesses somehow about don't offer it. And probably that's hand in glove with offering them resources for where do they buy the alternative, not plastic number 6 lids for a beverage. Or, so it's this sort of, what the question becomes, are we handing out postcards? I'm using the word postcard, but little cards in English, Korean, and Spanish to the local businesses, because they're not going to be watching our social media channels, that's for sure. So that's one question we don't have an answer to. How do we inform and educate the local businesses? We're going to discuss that. It's easier to inform and educate our stakeholders about this because it's just like, here's what's happening. But Elizabeth had a great idea when we were first talking about sort of shaming some of the bad guys. And then her great idea was, no. Let's promote. Let's say the ones who are doing it right. Let's, in our social media campaign, say, oh, have you heard about this, which, Cafe Coffee, the one I found right after that, who's at Wellington Square, but she lives on Bronson. And all the coffees are in recyclable cups and recyclable lids. And good to know the straws are made out of avocado. So I have to know that, because it turns out, I'm allergic, but it turns out that a lot of those recyclable straws are avocado based, and other people have the same allergy. So it's interesting to learn.
What place is this?
Okay,
So without let's not get into the weeds.
yes, she sells coffee in various places. She moves around, but but she lives on Bronson within our footprint.
So I think what excites me most about this is the idea of, an article is a good idea. I mean, it's fine.
Mhm.
And then putting it in the neighborhood news, but I would like more snippets or posters. I don't know if you guys remember on NPR, there's like a public services announcement. There's a celebrity or an actor that reads some amendment to the Constitution, right? That little snippet that's just like, amendment number 5. And that's awesome because we will remember it. So I would like to divide these up and then put little graphic, little postcards, and put those on social media and put those out there, because that's something I can easily share on my Facebook page to all my LA friends. And then we could also include little photos of the people in their businesses and say, hey, these guys have avocado straws. And then it's sort of a rollout, and we don't pummel everyone. We don't ask anyone to read 2 or 3 pages, but we cover it.
Right.
And
right. And the other thing is, trying to find like the perfect 3-minute video that we could share, which I haven't found one yet, but we're not going to watch this whole thing, but I'm going to try and share. See again, how much fun is it that I'm having such trouble with sharing? It's no fun at all, to be honest, but I have it. So this is way too long. Again, can you see my screen at all?
Yes.
Is made possible through the generous support of the Amundsen Foundation, serving the Los Angeles community since 1952, and by a grant from Anne Ray Foundation, a Margaret A. Cargill philanthropy.
We can't really see the video unless you full screen it.
Unless I do what?
Click the little full screen button on the video.
Lower right hand.
I couldn't hear you. Okay, I can't even hear you, Dan, so that's a problem. What were you asking me to do?
There's a little full screen button on the video. If you click that, then we'll be able to watch the video much more clearly.
Okay, so settings, no. Captions, no. Oh, got it. Got it. So I'm going to exit the full screen because I have to reshare this. Sorry. Thank you for telling me how to do that. So back to this, share, and I just lost where it was. Okay.
There we go.
To look at the powerful forces spending big to promote plastic.
On behalf of the Plastics Industry Association.
Representing the Pactiv Corporation.
Dart Container Corporation.
Political influence by Dart Industries is keeping the Los Angeles City Council from stepping up and saying, we've had it with the deception.
Okay, so I'm not sure we want to see the rest of this. I'm going to just try to move it forward. Back to plastic.
Plastic containers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Plastic is going to represent 20% of our carbon footprint.
Why? Because a powerful plastic industry is spending millions of dollars to keep it that way.
Mr. Chair, members, Joe
So I'm going
Ackland.
to stop the share, but I'm going to stop the share and the video.
Okay.
The point is that's not the right video for us. But there are good...
I don't think we have the bandwidth to create a video.
No. I'm trying to find.
But I thought you told me that there were a couple of people in UNNC that we could talk about for a
Correct.
marketing campaign.
So a woman named Amy Hamas, who lives on 7th Avenue, is the chief recycling person at the city of Burbank. And she's a big anti-plastics person, and she's interviewed all over the place. I just haven't found the perfect video of her, but there must be one. And she should present to us.
Okay, that sounds great. But give us some time, because I think if we have her speak to us, we'd like to have as many people in the room as possible.
Correct. So but I've reached out to her twice. Donna is telling me that she's very difficult to get focused in on her own neighborhood because she's so busy doing more of a big picture stuff.
Fantastic. So the action that we would take on this is to get in touch with the UNNC people, correct?
I think we need to focus on what of the things we want to do, what costs money, and then ask for the money. So it doesn't.
Anything we need needs to cost any money.
Well, if we're going to walk and talk to small businesses at some point and hand them little resource cards, because I mean, the little Latino-owned businesses are not going to be watching our social media campaigns, no matter how cool our social media campaigns are.
But the ordinance is coming down to them, so presumably they're getting information from the city, so they will know what they are expected to do regarding their utensils.
Well, Marius had his hand up.
Yeah, I don't think it matters that the small businesses are watching the video, but it really matters if the constituents and the people are watching the videos, because those are the ones that they want to definitely impact and the ones they want to drive their business to by portraying that they're ahead of the curve and that they are dealing with this issue. Since social values have become a very large part of companies nowadays, and by showing that they actually do care about this, it can do that. In addition to saying, "Hey, look, here's the food served on it," that kind of things like that, and we can show those type of things. You may have to have someone independent, so you don't probably show partiality. Maybe, I don't know, whatever the case is, but you still want to, definitely do videos if you can, and definitely do it that way, because it still will work. I mean, if it's promoted and it shows, it will definitely work.
Right. So one of the things that I also did, I got no response, but I know I can reach him. Moses, I'm forgetting his last name, but from Lonnie, he's the person who runs the Byzantine Latino Quarter Business Improvement District. So that is Pico Boulevard, basically, in UNNC and east of UNNC. So it goes both sides of Normandy.
Okay.
And I feel that he's the entity that we should partner with to create whatever one might want to create to reach out to those small businesses, not to tell them they need to do this, but where are they going to get the resources to do it? I mean, in other words, where do they buy the recyclable, the compostable, whatever it is?
So I can commit to a couple of things on this. One is to read the ordinance thoroughly, so we know what businesses and consumers are looking toward. The second thing is I'm willing to go to 2 or 3 businesses and ask them what they do that's sustainable, that we would like to celebrate. And even taking a photo of them in their shop and then writing down a little blurb about what they do that's sustainable. And then creating little slides, just like PowerPoint slides, with the photo, with the UNNC logo, and with a blurb that says, per ordinance number 3, this business is providing.
Right.
And then trying to slap that right up on social media and on the UNNC website. Does that sound actionable?
Yeah, and that's probably does not require much more than a report that we're doing this, right? There's no money involved. And just for a clarity answer, although it takes effect next month, it's for the bigger places, but beginning April 22nd, 2022, it's not that far off. It applies to everyone, all food and beverage companies. So So a large food and beverage facility is one with more than 26 employees.
So could
so-
our group, do you think, could everybody in here commit to, be willing to read the ordinance and then identify a couple of businesses? that are
Sure.
Yeah,
Right, I mean-
I will read and I will talk with Papa Christos.
Yay.
Cool. And he's going to be one of the ones who has to be, I'm sure he has more than 26 employees. And then I commit to talking to Frank and Vanessa Cesaris at Surface,
Great.
plus the coffee vendor I've already found. That's 2. I don't know who else, but go ahead.
Let's see, I can't remember, but there's a vegan restaurant on Crenshaw and Pico.
Right.
Are you thinking of Grain Cafe?
The Grain
Yes.
Cafe. And the Truffle Brothers too. I could go to the Truffle Brothers.
Yes. And so then there's Alibi, Fence, Blue Elephant.
Right.
I mean, I should not make any assumptions.
Okay. And you guys, photos just do so much. So if
Mhm.
you're there and it seems like an opportune time to take a nice photo, then please go ahead. Marius, do you want to take a couple of businesses?
Sure. Yeah, that should be no problem. I'll see what I can find and contribute. Yep. Okay.
Right. And it's food and beverage businesses. So the one thing, again, that the gal I had a quick conversation with, and I'll follow up with her, Bronson Coffee Girl, is that her supplier is a manufacturer in Vernon who makes all of these materials. So
See, that's
Yeah.
absolutely should be on a slide or
Right.
because
but that's the kind of thing to tell people. It's like,
Mhm, exactly.
but I suspect, on the other hand, that many of these smaller businesses just go to the closest Smart and Final.
Yeah.
And I don't think Smart and Final is carrying the right materials at this point, because the ordinance doesn't say change to this other stuff. It says just don't give it out.
Right.
Wait till somebody asks you for it.
Right.
It's too, we're kind of moving that needle a little farther, which is
Mhm.
fine.
Right. Well, I'm hoping that an LA Times reporter will cover this issue.
Mhm.
But let's prime the pump by celebrating the businesses that are doing well. I'd like to move on.
Okay, and so for the moment, we're not asking for money. Just
Correct.
okay.
Right. So next is the draft community impact statement regarding Council File 210890. Dan, you want to take it away?
Sure, why not? Let's see.
And are you able to share? Because I'm having such trouble tonight.
I am able to share.
Yay.
First, I have to find the document.
Great.
Okay, now I can share maybe. If I can find the video program, let's see. Share. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to take up a lot of time here, but basically, I have put together some bullet points which explain the issue. Basically, EVs are clean and cheap and actually awesome. Their price is coming down and they're going to be cheaper than gas cars at some point, at least the new ones. Car makers have announced dates by which they will stop making old gas cars. And the problem is many people in UNNC do not have a place to charge one. This could lead to problems for UNNC peoples. And the city council has proposed addressing this by making a plan to actually get EV chargers, make EV chargers available to everybody in the city more fairly than would happen otherwise. And so the possible benefits for UNNC are lower cost of driving
Mhm,
and reduced pollution and potentially asthma
mhm.
from busy roads. So that suggests to me that the UNNC should file a community impact statement supporting this motion. I have draft text here. This is all Laura's doing. She poked me until I did this. And the work.
Well, you brought it up though.
Did I?
Yeah, you
Okay.
did, because I don't follow these council motions.
Okay, well,
You
anyway.
did alert me to it.
So the work consisted of reading it and gazing at my navel for an entire evening yesterday, and then writing this in like half an hour. And I have no supporting facts yet, but I mean sources, but I will add those before the agenda packet for the board has to be put together. So we can give them a nice two-sided-ish thing to go in the board packet, 2-pager.
I have something to say. Yeah, I've actually been doing quite a bit of research on this, especially since I'll have a vested interest in this very soon. It's quite a situation where you begin to really see certain things that are being commented on concerning charging vehicles, as well as a lot of other things. There was an article written recently by a car person. She said that one of her largest situations is safety and reliability of the charging stations. A lot of women charge, and they have difficulty, of course, going. You can't go in places where it's very desolate, very dark. No one wants to go any place that's desolate and dark, no matter who you are. And the amount of charging stations are not in places that are easily reachable. Many are in private property, in garages, in all kinds of places where if you're shopping there, it's great, but if you're not, it's kind of hard to reach it. So trying to get more equitable is another thing. If you look up on Google Maps, and if you look in our area, you can see the nearest charging station is not anywhere close in Jefferson Park. There's like one on Washington, and after that, you have to go almost to La Brea or way out to San Vicente to get to another one. And it can be kind of far. So these things really make a difference in making sure that they're evenly placed all over, not just west of La Cienega, but everywhere else that you can get to. So yeah.
So
go ahead, Laura.
So we should add, it's not just stranded with poor access. I mean, that's fine, but we should add a sentence, I think, that says the distribution of charging stations should be equitable. I mean, it's just a simple idea, equitable.
Placement.
The placement of charging stations should be equitable throughout the city. After the word charging, next sentence. And then I've had now several conversations, both with tenants and up the chain with the city, on my idea. We see here, there are a growing number of housing projects. So we have the 100-year-old apartments that have no parking lots. And soon we have the 6-month-old projects, which will also have no parking lots, no parking structure.
Right.
And so you've got tenants who may have an electric car on the street, I mean, however that works, but no place to charge it. So my dumb thought, but maybe it's not a dumb thought, is that what the city should be doing is installing, on every block, a charger or two. Is that even feasible? I mean, in other words, to do an infrastructure means you need the electricity in the ground, right? Or in the air. But also, how do you define who gets to park there? It's a public street. So is there a methodology where the curb where the EV is painted lime green, for lack of a better color, and you need to get from the city, a handicap thing, only it's a EV charging permit that you hang from your dashboard. And it has a maximum of what, 3 hours. You have to move your car. You can't just charge and then leave it there for 3 days because you're blocking somebody else's access. I am making up a program, but this would be create a program that would, I mean, that's my thought. It would allow
Okay, Dan.
permanent parking for charging.
Well,
Okay, Dan, and then Maria.
I think we shouldn't get too much into the weeds of how the problem should be solved. We should simply support the motion because it says DWPU need to come up with an equitable plan for charging access. Marius, were you going to say something?
Yes, I agree with you on that, definitely. And the system as it is made the charging companies deal with that factor that you're talking about, Laura. And there are mitigating factors to prevent people hogging chargers. They have special fees that occur afterwards that exponentially raise the price to discourage people from staying there for long periods. But there are
What if they're just parked on the street and they don't leave?
It's still part of that. It's still part of that. You get your fees go from $4 an hour to $50 an hour. So it prevents you from wanting to stay there and stay there overnight.
I haven't seen it go up that high, but yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't go up that high, but I'm just saying it's high enough to where you don't want to do that. But I agree with Dan here. We should just stick with the proposal as it is and not get too far into it, because then it could kind of turn off certain folks, and we want to make sure we want to encourage this as much as possible by making it so that later on we can then contest with DWP and work with them on how this can be done.
Can I propose some different wording at the very end?
Sure.
So we'll leave too many UNNC residents unable to benefit from the other infrastructure improvements. Because if there are rebates for EV cars, if there's money for EV cars and chargers, but UNNC residents cannot benefit from those if they can't charge their cars.
Can I also add I would also like to add, then we'll leave too many UNNC residents, then do comma, especially renters with no off-street parking, comma.
Unable to benefit.
Right.
From EV use, right, EV infrastructure.
Right, but I want to say residents, comma, especially renters.
We have too many UNNC residents, comma, especially
renters without off-street parking. Anybody who has off-street parking, at some point, the landlord could install a damn charger.
Oh.
But if they can't park off the street, there are no chargers.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's true. But even people with parking have trouble getting access. So I'm not sure. I mean, the people working on this plan are going to be extremely aware of the problem that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you think, but who's your buddy, Elizabeth, from the Alliance, who gave us the presentation on electric cars? Yeah, Lisa Hart. When I brought this up with her, she basically sent emails. It was like to 6 or 8 people at LADWP and other people in the city. And we ended up sort of conferencing via email. And it was like as if it was the first time they thought about it. So you would think they'd had thought about it, but it isn't the thing they were actually discussing. And also from a UNNC point of view, or our community point of view, 50% of our residents are renters. I'm not going to say 50% of our residents are renters without off-street parking. I wouldn't think we have that number. But if you just look around on the blocks, 4th Avenue where Elizabeth lives, for example, and where I'm every day, you've got 4 or 5 buildings without parking.
That's very much a serious problem. The renters and those without off-street parking have the worst problems accessing EVs. That is true.
I think one gateway drug might be those Blix. Is it Blix? those little electric cars that take up 4 or 5 spaces. And there's an infrastructure. Have you guys seen them around the city?
Mm.
Maybe they're more in Koreatown and more toward downtown.
Are you
But-
talking about Blue LA?
Yeah, Blue LA, that's it. My bike's a Blix. Blue LA, right.
Yes, I actually have a Blue LA card and have rented their vehicles. They've upgraded recently to nicer vehicles.
Wow. Wow, how much is it?
I don't know. It's not too much, but then again, I'm swimming in money as an engineer, right? So I don't even care.
But I mean, I think that's the future, right? Because if
No,
you don't need it that day, then somebody else can use it.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. How's this wording?
This is cool. Guys,
Yeah.
good with this?
Yep.
I feel like there's something missing here. Leave too many UNNC residents from the benefits of electric car. It sounds like it's kind of
Without the
missing.
benefits or
Just leave too many. Leave what though? But maybe we should.
Leave committee UNC unable
Oh,
to
yes, you're right.
benefit, unable to, or something
yeah, I
like
like
that.
unable
Yes.
Unable to enjoy the benefits of electrical. Well,
well, just benefit.
I think we should make it as more direct as possible.
all right.
Yeah.
Are you saying I'm too verbose?
I mean, the good way.
Thank you for catching that. That was terribly written.
Well, it's an early draft. It'll go over and over again. No big
There's a
deal.
risk.
Okay, so how does it look at the moment?
I think we just have to support council, not the motion in the council file, but council file motion. I mean, council file 20, how is it usually said?
Yeah.
Is there usually more than one motion? This is fine. I don't even know how we usually say it. So I think how we've been writing CISs lately is we just have a sort of more emotional first sentence, meaning electric cars are the future. And that is why UNNC supports the motion and blah, blah, blah. I mean, electric cars are the future seems stupid and dumb.
Dan, what
But,
was your comment? Dan?
You want me to move that first sentence to the end?
No. Just an introduction. You know, why do we support? I mean, why is this? You know, electric cars are good. Why?
Okay, how about this? LA is changing to electric cars, but there are no electric cars where we really need them in.
No, don't delete anything, Dan.
I was gonna move
No.
And don't move that around. I'm just trying to come up with a little intro.
A dramatic opening.
A dramatic, yes, a dramatic opening about how electric cars are good.
UNNC neighborhoods need not to be left out from electric vehicle infrastructure.
Infrastructure is a boring word.
Build up.
Yeah, so I guess I'm thinking something
Electric
different.
vehicles?
I mean, okay, I'm thinking something different. You guys may disagree with me. It would come before we support the motion. It's just an opener. It's just a tagline opener to catch people's attention when 40 other neighborhood councils are writing these CISs.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
I think if you left it right back as before, right there, and just start with the automotive, well, as the automotive industry. I think as the automotive industry switches from gasoline to electric cars, comma, UNNC residents need equitable. Well, that's getting really long, isn't it?
It
Right.
is.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess what I'm trying to say is
Or
I'm
just the
looking at one we did not too long ago on a different topic, but it was, well, first of all, we always expand it to say the United Neighborhoods of the Historic Arlington Heights, but don't need to worry about that, UNNC. But we said supports a single payer healthcare system in California that will ensure all Californians, regardless of employment, income, immigration status, race, gender, or any other consideration, can get healthcare. So we just did a statement about why we liked it. Then the CIS went on to say we support, blah, blah, blah. So that's the only thing I'm saying. It's just sort of an intro. Then we say, so UNNC supports the motion and council file, and the rest of it is all fine. It's all fine. You keep highlighting stuff that we just said is fine.
No,
No.
but he look at it. It's doing, there's something interesting here.
He's putting it at the end.
I like it.
Okay.
The automobile industry is switching from gasoline to electric cars unless the city plans ahead as proposed in the motion.
Oh, right.
So in council file 21089, there is a risk that market forces
Right.
will leave too many instances, particularly renters and those without off-street parking, unable to enjoy the benefits of electric cars because UNNC residents need equitable access to affordable care energy. The UNNC supports. I love it.
Okay. Question mark. Do we support it exactly as written, or
Yes.
not
Because
not this? Do we support council file 210890, the motion exactly as written, or are we suggesting any amendments? And I'm asking that as the person who keeps now having to file these CISs. It asks that question. Are you for it, or are you for it with changes?
I wrote supports. I mean supports. I do not. think-
I'm just asking for, so it's for it as currently presented.
Mhm.
Yes, because
Okay.
otherwise I would say if amended.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Okay. I'm just trying to clarify.
Do you want to add that at the end without amendment?
No, we don't need to. It's just the vote. We need to know when we're, in order to upload it, we need to know that
Okay, so then we present it at the next meeting
at the board.
do we have to go to the executive board?
Nope,
Okay,
The full board.
full board.
yay.
Okay. When's the meeting?
November 4.
November 4th.
Okay, so my action item is to scare up supporting like LA Times articles for the
Correct.
notes at
So-
the bottom for those few people who have time to read.
Right. And so what we do is we print the motion on the agenda and we upload the supporting documents. So the way you've presented tonight is okay. The whole thing could be with supporting documents, the whole thing could be uploaded. But we only put this verbiage on the agenda itself.
That's fine.
Okay, so since I don't have this version of the verbiage, will you please send it to me? So not the second.
Sure.
I mean, in other words, I can't, I keep trying to take my cursor and copying and paste it, but I can't because it's on a Zoom.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
I sent you a link to the Google Doc.
So will it have changed? Yes, I have that. Will it now be this? Is that where you're making the edits?
Yep,
Then you
'cause it's
don't
the
need to
Google
send
Doc.
me anything. I've got it.
Okay.
Perfect.
And it might be meaningful that if we all could be at the meeting, and Laura was helpful to me the other day because she gave me a window that I could be there at the window instead of the whole thing. Laura, could you give us a window?
I
in the
can try, given that we no longer can even put times on the damn agenda.
The Brown
We're
Act
recording.
forbids this.
Yeah, but
Right.
yes, I mean, when we make, so I'll figure it out. We do have the branding presentation that got tabled at October meeting will need to be top of the meeting, and that's going to be 35 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
So this will be after 8 o'clock.
If
That's
you could text me when it's going to be, I
Sure.
could text everybody else, and then we don't have to all devote our entire evening
correct.
to that. 'cause
Correct.
it's-
I'm just saying for our, in different equity, the entire communications committee team sat through a meeting and then their chair tabled their item at 20 of 10.
Oh,
So
oh,
they're going
okay.
first.
Yeah. Oh, I
They're
see.
going
Yeah.
first.
All right. I got 8:51, so we have 9 minutes. And Marius, did you have any other comments or any other comments about that last CIS?
No, I think that's it. So if we want to vote on it, we can go ahead.
Oh, yeah, let's vote. I move that we recommend that the board file a CIS with the text in the Google Doc.
I second. All in favor?
I,
And Laura?
Yeah, I'm saying yes, and hang on, you know what I'm doing now?
You're
Is
putting the actual motion, you're filling in the motion for
I
real.
am. I'm copying it out of the Google Drive and I am putting it.
All right, I can quick do number
I'm-
7, update on street tree planting maintenance, which is Laura told me that we are waiting for the money.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the darn money. So,
Yeah.
well, I have a few updates. I mean, there's 2 different projects. It seems unfortunately that the funds for the Jefferson Greenbelt to Cal Green Works may not be issued and will come back to us. There's some questions about whether Cal Green Works itself can do a 3-year project. I don't know the final answer.
Was that the Mike Meador thing? issue?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, shit, what happened?
There's just some question as to, I can't go into detail. There's some questions as to if he really has the ability, the money, other monies. You know, it's a overall 40 or $45,000 project with our portions, just some of it. But I just don't know what's going to happen. I do know, because the city attorney told me that if it comes to pass that he won't, that money comes back to us, we're able to reallocate it back to the project with a different vendor, different NPG, but that would be entirely up to the current board.
The current workers, the board, or
Yeah, the
people on board?
current governing board, maybe they want the $7,000 for something else.
Okay.
So I you know, anyway, it's unfortunate because you know, it's hard to know if he does or doesn't have the money, and the fact that we don't know if he has the rest of the money is what the problem is. So I just don't know. And
Okay.
you know, obviously the whole thing, it started out with KYCC, and it's the folks on 31st Street who changed it to Cal Green Works, and they're now among the people saying, well, maybe not. So, you know, and Lonnie had recommended Cal Green Works and had suggested they take it from KYCC and give it to Cal Green Works. Anyway, so the Cal Green Works is, they've been planting trees in other places, so I don't know all the details. I just don't know. I just don't know. But the Washington Boulevard one, as soon as the money is in the pot, you know, as soon as the clerk has approved whatever contract they still are working on writing for KYCC, as soon as that trigger is pulled and that check is written, then we can go out and start raising the other funds. I also don't want to be asking people for money or people like us to do a.
Is there anything we can do to grease the skids there? Somebody's doing those little donuts in my.
Yes, I can hear them. They're not in, they're right in the middle between you and me, Elizabeth. We can migrate.
Oh, it sounds like a street takeover. What a joy.
I want to run out and.
Yeah, well, they're at the intersection of 4th and
Didn't we have a
25th.
CIS about this at one point?
I think we did. Did we upload that one? So,
Hope so.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Marius?
Yeah, sorry, I have to actually get going, so.
Right. So,
All right, well, thank
okay,
you.
so anyway,
you.
the
Any
update is the
questions? Thank
trees
you very
aren't
much.
planted.
Thank you, no problem. All right then.
Okay, all right.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
And I think we don't have, I think we could table the previous agenda item issues along with the minutes.
Okay, yes, because I still haven't figured out how to share them, even though I have them.
And
So,
I would prefer also to have a copy. Are they
In
in a shared
advance.
doc?
right. They're not in a shared doc. They're just, it was like I started writing them when you and I were speaking, Elizabeth, and then I forgot about it and they were just they're still sitting. Anyway, well, so we'll table it.
Okay.
And I'll bring forward the ones from tonight. We'll just do all. And we have, oh, you know what? We didn't approve the September 9 one either, did we? Because did we have those? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember. Oh, thank you.
Okay, I'll
Dan.
go back and listen to that tape. I mean, in other words, I have to listen to the tape to make sure the minutes I have for that meeting are good. So I'll also know if we tabled the prior month's meetings.
I
Okay,
have,
you have August.
I have August.
Right, and I think we had August, but I don't remember us actually voting on them, so we'll see. Yes, it can all be tabled, minutes are tabled.
Okay,
So great. And we're under time. That's always exciting.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, I was afraid that you were quite ill. So I'm glad to see you as perky and
well, I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown most of the time these days, but I'm okay tonight. Mike Meador wanted some sort of a letter. Are you going to reply to him, Laura?
Well, here's the thing, that's what I'm trying to say, because he came last month, right?
Yeah.
I drafted the letter. I took it to executive, and that's when I got all of this feedback that we're not even going to write a letter. I said, well, look at the letter. Just please look at the letter, because it doesn't even say his name. All the
What did
letter
it
was is
say?
that we support the tree planting. So there's some degree of anger.
I understand that there are complications manifold. My question is simply, are you,
yes. And you just started recording again.
Right, to adjourn the meeting.
Sure.
oh, yes.
Okay. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much for everybody and onward.
At
See you next-
8:59.
8:59.
Awesome.
Okay.
Catch y'all later.
Yeah. Good night. Good night. Hi to Liz.
Okay, well.
Right. All right. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you. Yeah,
All right,
you are also perky.
Oh, you think?